Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the deck profile of my favorite deck, Constellars. Now, this deck has already been updated to the January list, the January 2015 Forbidden Unlimited list, because of a tournament that I entered 2 days ago, which used that list. And I don't want to use this deck because, as I said, it is my favorite. I should note beforehand, there's a few cards inside deck and in main deck as well, and I was sort of trying out at the moment. Because, like, at the moment it's Shadow, Clifford, Burning Abyss, to a certain extent Stellar Knights, which are the top decks. So I'm really just trying out main deck, side deck, what I want. And the DNYCS Honolulu just ended, like, yesterday. So now I'm just looking at some of the deck lists there and thinking, like, what do certain cards do, what deck stopped, and I'm like, yeah, Shadow, Burning Abyss, that's two of them. Like, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror works really well for them, and both of them wouldn't like Macrocosmos. So I'm thinking of possibly main decking Macrocosmos and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. I'm gonna see whether I do that, just do some testing, try stuff out. But yeah, let's go into the deck profile. 3 Cows, 3 Pollux, 3 Algaety, 3 Sombre. That's my main build. I used to have, I believe, a Sheraton in there at one point, like a couple of months ago. Decided that wasn't really worth it. Took it out. I feel this is good because I also have 3 Tenki to search for cows or bear, and 3 reinforcements of the army to search for Pollux. So in that sense, I do have enough monsters, and I can definitely get some exceeding out quite easily. Double honest because I can do that, and I don't feel it's too much. And honest definitely does help. Bear is in there at 1 because Tenki can not only search for cows, he can search for bear. Bear can get a free destruction because you just play Tenki, get bear, summon bear, get rid of Tenki, destroy monster, which is very nice. And then usually you'd be able to then direct attack or put some damage on board with bear, find a new Tenki, which you can then search for cows with. Nice thing over there. I already explained these. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, possibly going to make it even more. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is there for the Shadol and Burning Abyss matchups, which I expect to play a lot in tournaments. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror should put a good stop to them. Forbidden Lance to save my monsters from spells, from traps like, was it Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss? Pretty darn good card. And there's a lot of other cards that Forbidden Lance could save me from. Mystical Space to get rid of stuff. I just like Dark Hole and Raigeki in this deck just for destruction purposes. I've noticed that Lightshaver, another player who really likes to play Constellars, they got top 8 on DNYCS Honolulu. I didn't top. There was a top 16 cut. I didn't. I got like 20th, I think. Anyway, they got top 8, and their Constellar deck, monster-wise, is mostly the same. But spell and trap-wise, is quite different. Especially, they went in a lot more anti-meta with like main deck Soul Drain, main deck Macrocosmos, and like 2 or 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, Vanity's Emptiness as well, Wiretap. My spell and trap lineup in main deck, at least, is a lot more general because I play don't play rated too much, I guess, and I don't test too much. So then, in would I play in rated or in unrated, these cards like Mirror Force, Breakthrough Skill, they generally are more useful than Macrocosmos, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. So that's why this is my lineup. But if I really want to use this for tournaments, at the moment it does seem good to play Macrocosmos, Soldier, and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror possibly in the main deck. I have 2 Breakthrough Skill because I feel that negating stuff is good. Mirror Force, just one of my favorite traps. It just destroys lots of stuff, and I like destroying lots of stuff. Compulsory Evacuation Device, Torrential Tribute. Thing I like about Torrential Tribute, it can destroy multiple opponents' monsters. The thing is, against both Shadows and Burning Abyss, this is kind of because they both get their effects if Torrential Tribute destroys them, and if using against Cliffforts, they're essentially the extra deck and they can be printed on somebody to get extra. So probably Torrential is one of the first traps I'll take out. Would I want to take a trap out? Then I have Bottomless, I have Warning, and then I have the new Snatch Steel, which I feel can be very useful. Haven't actually gotten to use it in this deck yet, but it can definitely be useful, I'm sure of that. Extra deck, I have Gaga Cowboy, I have Abyss Dweller, Excite on Night to blow stuff up. This thing is so useful from time to time. Paladynamo, I've had it in there for quite some time, not actually used it in ages. 101 I have. Black Supercorn, not used it often, but I have used it. 2 Constellar Omega to save itself and like Pleiades or other Constellars and stuff. Shark Fortress, mostly there to help with the Constellar OTK. I'll get in a moment. I'll explain how that one works. Volcasaurus to help destroy some stuff. It can definitely destroy monsters, do good damage, and then just boom into Gaia Dragon, and then you have good damage on board. Two Pleiades, pretty much the boss monster of the deck. Tyras is in there, although just like Paladinima, I've not used this thing in quite some time, so possibly I'll take it out. Zenmayo, I just actually recently put it in because I was actually playing Rank of Magic the 7th one in this deck, and then I believe Zenmayo and Bestueller weren't in there, like for instead of 107 and Chaos 107. But like after playing it for a while, I'm like, nah, it doesn't really fit the deck. It's nice if you get the play out, which I barely ever got. Yeah, I decided to put two cards in. I'm just gonna see if I ever use Zenmayo. Like Tyras and Paladin, I don't use it either. I see me using Abyssal more to stop stuff in the grave from activating. And then Gaia Dragon, which can help one with Volcasaurus, but two, it also helps in the OTK. Now, I'll explain the OTK now before I go into the side deck. This generally helps if you go first. What you need is Chaos, either two Chaos and two things that can help summon Chaos, like Algieri or Pollux, or one Chaos, one card that can help summon them, such as Algieri or Pollux, and then a Sombre. This is what you do. So let's say you start with Pollux, Chaos, Sombre, or Pollux, Sombre, and then Tanky. Anything that gets fetched from them you can replace it by. Pollux, normal summon. Normal summon Chaos with Pollux effect. Chaos makes them both level 5, make Pleiades. Hopefully you then also have like a Forbidden Lance. Or Breakthrough Skill maybe, face down. That does help. Not necessary, but it does help. Play it face down. Pass. Opponent's turn. They hopefully don't have a big monster. Even if they do, you can Pleiades it away. Be very careful because Pleiades is a once per turn effect. It's a quick effect, but it's a once per turn, so be careful as to what you get rid of. If you have multiple Mystical Space Typhoons, get rid of their monster. If you have Forbidden Lances, I suppose you can still get rid of their monster. Because Forbidden Lance can stop most of the spells and traps from hitting you. Breakthrough Skill for monsters, so then you would possibly use Breakthrough Skill on their monster and then get rid of the spells and traps. Anyway, let's say they end their turn with one monster and one set spell. Then you use Pleiades effect on the end phase, assuming you haven't used it yet, on the set spell. Because that's what could still pose a problem as soon as it's your turn. So you get rid of the set spell, or trap. You draw your card. Let's talk optimal scenario. You get Mystical Space Typhoon. Would they have a second set spell? You can use Mystical Space Typhoon there. They still have a monster left. Use Pleiades on that monster. Monster gone, opponent has clear field. Hope they don't have Gorse. Pretty sure they don't use that much in decks anymore. Save for Fate or Scarecrow. So you got Pleiades on board. Now you have your Sombre, and both Chaos and Pollux are in the graveyard. So what you do is you play Sombre. Use its effect, banish Pollux from the graveyard to get Chaos back in your hand. Sombre's other effect then allows you to normal summon Chaos. Chaos' effect goes off, making them both Sombre and Chaos level 5. You overlay them into Shark Fortress. And what you also do is then immediately exchange Pleiades into... Where the hell is it? I need this thing for my OTK. Why is this not in my deck? Yeah. Alka, when did you think taking out M7 was a good idea? Did I do that for, like, Chaos 107 or something? I need M7 for the OTK. Anyway, Constellar told me M7. 2700 to sec. Then use Shark Fortress's effect on M7, which makes M7 able to attack twice during the turn, and with 2 direct attacks is 5400 damage, leaving the opponent with 2600. Problem, Shark Fortress only has 24. However, it's a rank 5, so you can then exchange it into Gaia Dragon and Thunder Charger, which is 2600 attack, 2 times 2700 plus 1 times 2600, 8000 damage. There you have your OTK. Side deck. Dimensional Fissure, Microcosmos, Soul Drain. Lots of stuff activating in the graveyard with Burning Abyss, with Shadow, and even Satellar Knights to a certain extent don't like stuff not going to the graveyard. Debunk, could could be used, although it can only be used once. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror stops them more often. Breakthrough Skill, I took one out of my main deck when switching. Same for Kaiser Coliseum, I used to have two of this in my deck. I decided they were useful at times, definitely, but they haven't been useful as much lately, so I just took them out. I thought that other cards would be more useful. Fairy Wind, I just put this in just before doing the recording. I had System Down, I believe, in there, but I feel that Fairy Wind will be more useful against Glyph and even other decks could still be annoyed by Fairy Wind, but it's mostly against Glyph to get rid of their Pendulum skills. Maska Restrict, something I was trying out as a thing against Glyph because I do Tribute quite a bit. So Maska Restrict would stop that. Thunder King Ryo is in the side deck just like Breakthrough Skill and Kaiser Coliseum because it used to be in the main deck, but I decided to take something out. Thunder King Ryo's effects, both of them weren't used as much. It doesn't stop Pendulum Summons if it's more than one monster, so against Clifford it's not that useful anymore. Shadow's Fusion summoned via a spell card, so that's not inherent. Doesn't work against Shadow's. Burning Abyss, I suppose the Xyz and Synchro summons do still apply with them. But generally I felt it wasn't as useful anymore, and I didn't want to just use my normal summons and stuff for my Constellar so I could get my Xyzs out quicker. And then I have another Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. I'll probably throw that into the main deck soon after this video. But as I said, I'm still testing stuff out, seeing what works against the current meta. And yeah, and then I'm gonna change a few stuff up here and there possibly, but I hope that with this you have understood the general idea of what I'm trying to do with this deck. I really love this deck, it's my favorite, so when I'm in a tournament, good chance I'm using this deck. I won't always though. Alright, see you guys later.